Looking at herself in her bedroom mirror, my beautiful daughter talked to me and all I could do was listen. Every day she'd tell me that she loved me and that she missed me so much, and you know what? I love her so much. I wish I could hold her again. She was never confrontational and she hated arguments and most of the time walked away from trouble. However, my daughter sure had a temper, a rage that could slay a dragon if they existed. It was about 7 months ago when my daughter was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there for her physically, but I watched her crying angry for hours. But my daughter's a clever little girl. She managed to twist her diagnosis into an opportunity, a twisted opportunity for herself. It would be the perfect murder, and when she'd finish her revenge, she'd be dead before she's punished anyway. Oh, she's a smart girl, my girl. It was the perfect crime to do bad, knowing your time living had a rapid countdown to death. Her target was her supportive, kind husband, yet she knew he was a cheater. Look, I never liked him. I guess it's father's instinct. My daughter's female instinct smelt his guilt and that emotional distance you get when you just know your lover doesn't love you anymore. She followed and watched him meet his new lover, and he definitely downgraded because he was intimate with someone old enough to be his mother. I couldn't stop her. My daughter killed her husband along with his new lover. My daughter murdered them at the same time. Clever girl. She worked out her husband and his naughty little secret would meet every evening on a Thursday night in the multi-storey car park adjacent to the train station. So that night, in front of the car park's dirty brick wall, the cheaters were tangled in the heat of passion when my daughter drove her SUV into their defenceless bodies. She smashed into the small car parked in front of them, which shielded the lovers from being seen, and that little car in turn pinned them both against the wall. My daughter wasn't happy with slamming into them just once. She reversed then drove at speed again, slamming into the smaller car, crushing her husband and his dirty old secret. And then she did it again. Reverse, drive, slam. And again, reverse, drive, slam. Big car metal crashing into little car metal, then crushing bones, popping organs, flattening torsos, snapping spines, and finally destroying unsupported skulls. When the repetitive, powerful, brutal, vicious attack ended, ambulances and police cars arrived. One of the paramedics actually fainted. There's nothing I could have done to stop her, and when she got home and looked into her mirror to tell me what she did, I remember how happy she looked. Not in a I'm now mad crazy happy, just a genuine high for the short life she had left. She said the drive into them was perfect timing. She hit their loved up bodies head on. She's smart. She knows it's a matter of minutes before the police kicked her door down. Look, I've witnessed the most terrible things happen to those that I love, including my own daughter. And she especially has gone through so much pain, and I couldn't do anything apart from watch and listen. She would talk and confess to herself, hoping I'd hear her, and I did hear her. I could only listen and watch from the other side of her mirror. I presumed in my death everything would be just one deep sleep and forever happiness, but I can guarantee you it's far worse than living. All I can do is watch. It's a bit like watching a real-life reality show on a huge screen, and I'm tied to a heavy chair, my mouth is gagged, and on screen I'm watching someone doing horrific things to my family. Now I'm in death, the spirit world, knowing my little girl will die soon and join me. So now I'm waiting for my daughter to arrive, and I can't wait to tell her that I saw and heard everything when she talked to herself in her mirror. I was there, the other side of her mirror, and now I can see the whites of her eyes are brown and her body's full of toxins. Not long now, and when the two of us are together again, I suspect we'll carry on like we did when we were both alive and happy. I've learned this far too late, but if I could live my life over again, my family and their well-being would come first, before any job or hanging out with my mates. It's my own fault I died so young. I couldn't be bothered to take care of myself. I believed I'd live forever. I'm so happy I'll see my daughter again, because in death I've been in hell, and I hope my little girl will help me find the emergency exit. Have you ever made funny faces in front of the mirror? Well, I'll tell you why you think it's fun. It's a game. In Simon Says, you need a friend who will follow your every direction. This is essentially what you're doing in front of the mirror. Simon says, smile. You're not saying it out loud, but you could just as well be thinking it. It's your closest friend. Do you disagree? I'll tell you what, go play in the dark where it can no longer track your expressions as accurately. You won't be comfortable for long. Last October I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt a bit confused. My alarm wouldn't go off until hours later. I sat up on my bed and suddenly there was this dry cracking sound. I couldn't tell from where or what. I suspected it had come from outside the house. My feet hit the floor and I walked to the window beside my bed. Complete darkness outside. The window reflected everything in the room clearly. Everything except me. No, that wasn't right. My reflection was still sleeping in my bed. I stared at this thing in terror. Another cracking sound. It came from the bed. I quickly turned around. It was empty. I was absolutely terrified. I ran out of the room. Another sound. A pair of feet hitting the floorboards? Yes. And now someone was lazily dragging them toward the bedroom window. I realised my reflection had somehow, for some reason, gotten out of sync. It was lagging behind. Did it know? Did it also realise? No, I thought. It hadn't seen me see it. But wouldn't it also notice something was off when it couldn't see me in the window? I ran straight to the living room, turned on all the lights and just sat there. I refused to look into any surface where I'd be able to see my own reflection play catch up with me. I also covered my ears so I wouldn't hear it come creeping into the living room. I prayed in silence it'd just catch up quickly so everything would return to normal. It took me almost an hour to gather my strength and walk into the bathroom. I really needed to go but was afraid to look into the mirror. I looked at it for 1 second. It seemed normal. It had caught up. I pretended everything was fine so it wouldn't suspect anything. Suspect that I knew. I pretended to give it a quick glance and smile like usual before turning off the lights. This is what I have continued to do ever since. I don't think it has figured out my secret yet, but I still sometimes try to see if it ever hesitates to move in the corner of my eye while it thinks I'm not looking. I want to see if it ever keeps the smile on its lips on for just a tiny bit too long. I want to see if it ever winks at me as if to say, I know.